Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Morgan. That is not my intro. What am I doing? Hello my gorgeous lovely people. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Morgan if you're new here. Today I thought it would just be fun to film a little newbie booktuber tag. I've been seeing this a lot over YouTube. I just thought it would be an interesting video to film just because I am new to booktube. If you've never watched a booktube tag, it's basically just answering some questions and getting basically like a get to know me but related to books, if that makes sense. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? Ever since I was 16 years old, I have wanted to be a YouTuber and start a YouTube channel. I had a mini camera that I would vlog on since I was like really little, and I would just make little fun videos with my sister and with my American Girl dolls. Honestly, I've just always loved like recording myself. And when I was 16 years old, I wrote in a journal that I really wanted to be a YouTuber. And in that journal, it was like, hey, if you're reading this in the future and you still haven't started a YouTube channel, literally, what are you doing? So I saw that and I've been thinking about it for like a year. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm 20 years old. Like, I don't care what people think about me starting this YouTube channel. I'm just gonna do it. The next question I found kind of hard. It is, what are some unique things that you think you could bring to YouTube? This question was hard for me to answer because I could argue that anyone starting booktube or any type of creative realm within YouTube or anything itself could offer some type of uniqueness to it, but picking exactly what I think I'm gonna be unique in was really hard for me to do. I will say that I have very raw reactions while I'm reading. So if you haven't seen my recent reading vlog, I'm literally like bawling my eyes out to The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. And if you know, you know. That book is not sad, but I was bawling my eyes out because of how gorgeous the writing was and just because of the things going on in that book overall. I guess just my really raw reactions to books and certain things can be unique, and I also have been told that I'm really funny. I don't want to say, hey, I'm really funny, and then you guys be like, dude, you're literally not funny. Take with that what you will. Next question is, what are you most excited about by starting a YouTube channel? What I'm most excited about coming into the like booktube type realm is the community and be able to share my love for reading with you guys, and then for you guys to just be besties with me, you know what I mean? And then, why do you love reading? This is a very broad question. Like, why do I love reading? I recently got into reading within the last 14 months, I'd say. I find reading as like an escape. When I'm reading, I am there in that book. I am one of those characters. I am the character, especially if the book is in, I think it's first person, whichever the one's like, I drove the car to this place. I did this. I did that. I am the I. I am the main character in that book. I see myself as the main character and I just love it. It's like an escapism. I can escape to that world. I'm currently a student athlete, so being able to read really makes me not stressed. I also really like reading because it makes me feel like I have less brain fog. Like, I definitely still have lots of brain fog. I get very lost in thought a lot of the time when I'm talking, especially to this camera, which I cut out a lot. There's a lot of times where I'm just like, what was I gonna say? And then I sit here for 2 minutes and I really just can't think of what I was going to say. But I find that with reading, I have less brain fog and I can use bigger words and sound smarter when talking to people in my everyday life. And then next question, I'm so excited about. I love this question. What books got you into reading? So let me tell you guys the whole backstory on how I got into reading. Picture this. I'm going to a college that I really just don't enjoy going to. I'm going into my sophomore year at this college and I'm just really not enjoying my time at all. I'm thinking in my head, I'm telling my boyfriend Ben, I'm like, I need a new hobby and I really want to get into reading. I had scrolled across a few book talk TikToks and I was like, oh, I just really want to get into reading. I want this to be my new hobby. I'm like telling my boyfriend, I'm like, but I don't know what books I want to read, this and that. So my sophomore year, I had 3 person in one single room. It was a 6-person suite, but in my room, there were 3 people living in there. And one of my roommates was like, I saw she had books up on the shelf that I like stared at every day. And I had already bought 2 books. Those were 14 Ways to Die and If We Break. And I read those 2 books really fast and I was like, wow, I read 2 books? Like, I've never liked reading before. And I saw she had books up on her shelf, so I was like, hey, I really want to get into reading. What book should I read? She was like, oh my God, I love that you asked me this. Read this book. And it ended up being none other than, you guys are going to be able to guess it right off the bat. It was none other than It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. The book that I swear every single girly says got her into reading. But I read that book. It wasn't the first book I read, again, on my reading journey, I guess you'd say, at the start of it. But she gave me that book. I flew through it. Literally, I was having outward reactions. I was sitting in my room reading it with my roommates right there, and I was like, oh! And they were like, what part did you just get to? Because they had both read the book, and I was like, this part. And they were like, oh my God, I know. I felt butterflies from that book. I literally love this, and I love the characters, and I'm so mad at this character, but I love this character. Like, I was having actual emotions. I was kicking my feet, giggling. Like, that's how much I love that book. But that is the book that got me into reading, and it will always have a special place in my heart. So It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover is the book that got me into reading and made me fly through books. I got on Book Talk. I was taking in so much book content, flying through like, oh, what should I read? What should I read? And then I started If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin or Nolan. I don't really know how to say it. And that book had me absolutely sobbing. Like, I never knew reading could get this much of a reaction out of me. And I really did not think I enjoyed reading before these two books, and I was like, wow, this is what reading can feel like. So back to the question, books that got me into reading. Like I said, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin or Nolan, however you say it. Next question is, what are your current favorite books? So currently, again, this is my first full year of being a reader. My absolute favorite book, it feels crazy that I read this year also, because it really doesn't feel like I read this book this year, was Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This book, I just remember reading this, and I was literally in my golden hour when I was reading this, because I think back when I was reading this and it was just an amazing experience overall. Childhood friends to lovers has quickly become my favorite trope. Something about it just does it for me. As you can tell with the next one of my favorite books is A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This is another childhood friends to lovers, and it got me. I cannot explain to you the type of reaction I had. This book literally killed me, ripped my heart out, and literally broke it into 1,000 pieces. I'm not kidding. I cried from page like 16 or 19, somewhere in there. I cried every single chapter after that. Anything that happened, anything that was said, I was bawling my eyes out. That book did something to me, and I want to read it again to go in and annotate it, but also I don't want to experience that pain again. So I really don't know what I'm gonna do. Next book, or my current favorite, is The Naturals, book 1. That book is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and Jennifer Lynn Barnes also wrote The Inheritance Games, which is more popular within the Book Talk, Booktube. But why do I keep saying Booktube? So The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes is so good. I picked it up after seeing Larry's TikTok. You probably know her as like Larry Reads on TikTok. She's really funny. She always has her book in her little espresso, drinking it at like some crazy time. I picked up The Naturals because of her, and I started reading it, and I honestly didn't go in expecting that much out of it, and I ended up rating it 5 stars. I read it so fast, and I absolutely adore that book. This question has taken way too long. I love talking about my favorite books. Another current fave is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series by Holly Jackson. I read this series at the beginning of my reading journey, so still back in 2022. I absolutely ate this series up. I think I finished the whole series within like 2 weeks, which again, had never read a series before. And I absolutely loved the writing style of it, and I have yet to find a book that has a similar writing style. The next question I have is, what challenges do you think starting this channel will bring? I think that being consistent will be challenging, just because, like I said earlier in this video and other videos before, if you've watched my channel before, that I am a college student athlete. It is my junior year. Being consistent by posting on YouTube is gonna add a lot to my plate, but then there's also the side where school takes priority, obviously over YouTube. So I just think a good balance is gonna be hard to find, but I like a good challenge. And then editing. I just find editing really hard. I had editing classes in high school, so I'm sure I have more editing experience than other people do, but I'm using a new platform now. I'm using Final Cut Pro the trial version just because it's like $300 to buy it out. I'm just still trying to figure it out. Next question is, where do you like to read? My bed. If you know one thing about me, it's that my bed is my safe space, and I like to spend all my time in my bed. I do my homework in my bed. I do watching shows in my bed. I read in my bed. Did I already say that? I go on my phone in my bed. I do literally everything I can in my bed, and I love it. So that's my favorite place to read. I also loved this summer reading at the beach. If you have the right book, it just makes the experience so good. And then physical book, ebook, or audiobook. So I have to pick, do I like physical book better? Do I like an ebook better? Like reading on my Kindle or like an iPad or my phone or something, or audiobook? And to this question, I say there's a time and a place where I enjoy any of them. So right now I'm into ebooks a lot because I just got my iPad and I've been reading on the Kindle app on my iPad because I said this in a vlog that's going to be coming out soon, but when you get a new piece of technology or a new something that's like all you want to use, that's me right now. So I've been reading on the Kindle app on my iPad rather than on my Kindle itself. So I'm really liking that. And then I've also really been into audiobooks lately because I am also a commuter student. So I have like a 25-ish commute to school, 50 minutes every day at least. And then I had breaks in between classes and stuff. So I would just listen to audiobooks. But I think that my overall top pick, if we were doing Kiss, Marry, Kill, I would marry a physical book. I would kiss the audiobook, and I would kill the ebook, because if you have a physical book, why do you need the ebook type thing? Even though it is a lot more convenient at times. And then the last question I have for today's video is, who are some booktubers that I look up to? Obviously, Sarah Caroli. She is my absolute favorite YouTuber of all time. I've never had a YouTuber other than Sam and Colby, which is totally not related. And Sarah Caroli just has very calming, I don't know, she just has this vibe to her that's just so nice to watch. And I just love Sarah Caroli and I look up to her. I like the way she edits, and I don't know, I just really like her videos and her as a person. She seems so nice. And then there's Destiny Sidwell, which if you watch Sarah Caroli's videos, you definitely know who Destiny Sidwell is. I love the way she edits. She is so creative, and her videos, if you watch one of her videos from the beginning of this year and then one of the videos from the end of this year, she has grown so much as a YouTuber, and you can literally tell how much time she's putting into her videos. And I just look up to her in the way she edits. It's so good. And then I have Ashlyn, I don't know how to say her last name. It's either Callie or Kaylee. I think it's Kaylee. Or maybe it's Callie. I don't know. But Ashlyn Callie. She also has a very unique editing style, and I adore watching her videos. It makes you feel good on the inside and makes you want to be a better person, honestly, because she's just so smiley. And I love when her and her husband make little bookish videos, because her husband's also a booktuber. It's literally the cutest thing ever. That is all I have for today's video. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff that you guys know how to do. And I will see you guys hopefully in the next one.